Good morning.
Hello and good morning. Welcome once again to Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. It is the Morning Express, the Thursday edition. Another opportunity for us to discuss, have conversations about state of the nation, have conversations about governance, politics, economics, amongst many other things. But for this morning, or at least for this segment of the Morning Express, what we're doing is taking information as reported on the front pages of our dailies and scrutinizing these headlines in a bit to provide you with access to the many events that are playing out within our polity. My name is Sage Babalola. If you've been listening since Monday, you understand the technique of this program. But for the sake of you, those of you rather who probably are just tuning in for the first time, or you're just catching the program for the first time, we welcome you to the family. We welcome you to the Morning Express. Well, right now what we're about to do is trends in the papers. About 40 to 50 minutes of conversations that highlights the stories that our newspapers have given to us this morning. It's a daily program, which means that as information comes through every single day, we do well to update you and also to inform you about these stories, whether it be new, whether it be developing. You'll definitely get access to that information on here. We only are not available via traditional radio. We allow for others who do not have access to their traditional radio to also engage with us, and that is why we are on social media. So you can do well to follow us across our social media pages, especially on Facebook and on YouTube, where we stream all of our programs. And the beauty of that is, even if you're unable to listen at that moment, you can still go to our social media platforms and play back all of the programs that air on the station, which means that you can watch this sometimes in the evening when you get back from work and still comment using the live chat option. So do well to follow us on social media, on Facebook and on YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, and we're currently streaming at this time. There's also the segment that allows you an opportunity to speak to us live on air. It's called Mainland Focus. When we segue into that segment, I'll do well to announce the numbers through which you can reach us, but I'm just giving you the full picture of what to expect as you go along with us on the Morning Express. Once again, welcome to the program. It's Mainland 98.3 FM. I am Sage Babalola. This conversation is not one I would have by myself. It takes two to tango, and so Fᴜᴜ will be joining me via the phone line as we begin to analyze the report on the front pages of our newspapers. Fᴜᴜ, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Sage. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. All right, then. Straight to it. Punch, Guardian, Vanguard. We'll kick off conversations with the Punch so we can get through the stories and move to the Guardian newspaper. The top story on the front page of the Punch: federal government 9 billion naira e-border project fails to stop bandits, illegal aliens. That is the headline. The story tells us that despite the federal government's multi-billion naira border surveillance system launched in 2019, illegal migrants, some of whom have been identified as bandits, terrorists and kidnappers, continue to cross into Nigeria from the Republic of Benin, Chad, Niger, Mali and Cameroon. And this is as the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, said e-border surveillance is now being mounted across the nation's border with its neighboring countries. He says, and I quote, "As we speak, more than half of our borders have been automated. There are visuals and a lot of processes are going on now. So effectively, there is e-border surveillance at our borders, and by October, we will be done with the first phase of the e-border surveillance project, including our marine borders. But we have residents of these border communities who continue to affirm that every single day we have illegal immigrants crossing the border very conveniently, and most of these individuals have been linked to the rising insecurity that we see in the country." So far, here we have it as some sort of appraisal of monies that we allocate to certain projects. This particular one being border surveillance and automating the process, about 9 billion naira project that this was. But we have data suggests that even with that amount of money expended to border protection, border security, that we continue to see an influx of illegal immigrants coming into the country and exacerbating our security concerns.
Well, Sage, anyways, it would have been nice really to know the entire details of this e-border project, because again, this was something that got that huge amount of money as far back as 2019, and I'm sure that if we are to properly also review subsequent budgets, budgets of 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, probably will find that item again in those budgets with some other, allocations. Also, God knows how much would have put into it consistently over the last 5 or 6 years. But again, like I said, the devil is in detail. That'd be nice to know what comes together to form an e-border surveillance project.
I could tell you some of the things that they intend to do.
Okay, all right, that would help.
Okay, so the e-border control system is to stop illegal migrants from coming into the country. What it involves is border officers, e-border surveillance system, including officers, and also it will cover around 5,330 kilometers with numerous entry points being covered. Also, there will be 24/7 monitoring and intelligence to enable better tracking and management of border activity. So there would be officers deployed to several vulnerable border entry points. There would also be an automated 24/7 monitoring and also intelligence gathering. That's basically the summary of what this is supposed to do. So personnel and machinery to ensure that people live surveillance to ensure that illegal immigrants are not able to seep through the borders. That's the summary, really.
So the question is, what is E about deploying more personnel?
Well, 250 trained immigration service personnel will run 24-hour shifts at the e-border control center. 250 more people.
Okay, so they are going to be in charge of the equipment, the gadgets.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, I was expecting more details. There's a reason I'm asking this question, or trying to just put further into this particular project. It's not that's going to change anything, really. You understand what I'm saying? These monies have been, appropriated for. Most likely some of these projects are considered completed or probably ongoing. And like I said, if you probably to check even this current budget, this 2025 budget, you might also find some of these items in the budget. But again, we all know that when it comes to illegal immigration, people coming into our borders, maybe just a few stretch along the borders, really. Can this e-border really stop illegal immigration from happening? Just imagine our borders with Niger, for example, the 7 states that borders Niger. I don't know how well the e-borders would have helped. Even the almighty United States of America still has challenges, say, with illegal immigration. People are still able to cross their borders. They are still able to look at, open spaces along the borders with Mexico and other countries. So, but I think the most important thing is that we have to look at our own local peculiarities. Look at how to get our borders more secure. And I think why this is also making the news is the amount of money put into this particular project, and the little effect that we're seeing. Because people are still able to come in. Illegal migrants, criminals, terrorists, bandits, like for example, we're dealing with. So it's just what it is, really. I think this is just again an eye-opener to the fact that a lot of times in this country we put so much into, especially when it comes to money, into projects with little result. And one of them is this e-border surveillance project. 9 billion. As I said, I don't have the fact, but my mind tells me that would have gotten more appropriations in subsequent budgets. I don't think it has worked, and it may never work with until we probably check and check again.
Well, it's on page 3 of the Punch newspaper if you'd like more insight into some of the reactions, because a lot of stakeholders as well have said that right from when the proposal came on, they knew it was a white elephant project and it was an absolute waste of money. And so it's actually in the report. I didn't bring it up, I promise. It's in the report that they knew it was a white elephant project and an absolute waste of money. So they're not surprised that even with 9 billion we still have an influx of illegal immigrants, even with the machinery and personnel that they claim to put at the borders, especially the vulnerable points. But you can definitely read it. It's on page 3 of the Punch newspaper, like I said before. Moving on, the Oxford Dictionary has expanded its lexicon, and these are Nigerian words like Jakpa, Agbiru, Eba. 17 other Nigerian words have been added. Let me read the report. I don't know why I'm overly excited about this, but the Oxford English Dictionary has expanded its Nigerian words. 20 Nigerian words have been added, and the newly added entries include popular terms like Jakpa, Agbiru, Eba, 419, Abi, among others. And some words like jand appear in both nouns and verbs in the dictionary. There's also pronunciation guides, among other things. And a Nigerian English consultant to the Oxford Dictionary, Kingsley Ungwayi, announced the update on LinkedIn on Tuesday, and he expressed excitement over his role in drafting the words and recording their pronunciation. He says, "I'm thrilled to announce that the Oxford English Dictionary has officially published its latest updates featuring an amazing collection of Nigerian English words that beautifully reflects Nigeria's culture, creativity, and the unique ways that we express ourselves as Nigerians. This time, I not only drafted most of the words, but also had the incredible opportunity to provide their hashtag and pronunciations. So when you explore the OED online and click on the pronunciations, you would hear my voice bringing these words to life." I'm also excited because, well, thanks to social media, there's been some sort of equalizer when it comes to culture. The same way we adopt a lot of foreign slangs, like like give me $50. We say that a lot, but our currency is not bucks. But we say give $50 here in Nigeria. We might see foreigners also saying things like abi, you have japa, and what have you. So it's a nice thing. It's a cultural mix that I'm very excited about.
Well, it's a good one. Again, reflective of how diverse the Nigerian society is, with our languages, with our ability to be able to create some of this lexicon. So it's beautiful to see that, on the global stage, we are able to at least add to the vocabulary of the global space when it comes to new words. I think the Japan thing, is it up to 10 years? That particular word, I think
it became famous about 2 years ago. Actually, became more famous about 2 years ago.
That Japa really became a word to describe, Nigerians who are leaving the country in droves to other places for greener pasture. That's valid interpretation, and now it's made its way into the Oxford English Dictionary. So it is a good one. It's a good one, nice one. I think people have been trending.
Yeah.
The longly.
Okay,
I'll add my own next year.
Yesterday was very.
I'll add my own next year.
What word are you going to add?
No, not wahala. It's too early to let you know. You want to?
I think they should put wahala there.
Wahala.
Yeah, I think they should.
Are you sure wahala is not already there?
Probably. I'll go and check all the words. I'll check it. I'll press send the full list on the. I'll go and check it. But yeah, I'll put wahala.
Even before this new one, I'm saying, we've always had this addition.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's on page 7. If you'd like to see all the 20 words that were added from Nigeria's lingo. Let's check page 14. Emefiele loses bid to stop $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud trial. This is still on the former CBN governor and his many trials and travels with the law. The Lagos State Special Offences Court on Wednesday dismissed an application filed by former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, challenging the court's jurisdiction to entertain the $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion naira fraud charges that was brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Justice Raman Oshodi, in his ruling, held that the court had the jurisdiction to try Emefiele and his co-defendant Henry Omoile. The judge, however, struck out 4 out of the 26 counts filed by the EFCC against the defendants for a lack of jurisdiction, and the 4 was the objection challenging the court's territorial jurisdiction over the counts 8 to 26 fails and is hereby dismissed. The prosecution has established sufficient territorial nexus in this case, and the judge subsequently adjourned the case for the continuation on February 24, 2025. So, Emefiele and his team of lawyers, right, they are contending the court's jurisdiction to try him for a fraud case. Remember, he's facing 26 counts. Now, the court has withdrawn or dismissed 4 of those charges for a lack of jurisdiction, but they are proceeding with the rest of the charges bordering around fraud and misappropriation of funds, amongst other things. There's been conversations around how long this is going to take. There's another adjournment till February, and of course this is Emefiele's latest attempt to at least exonerate himself from a few of the many charges, which, lucky for him, at least 4 have been dismissed.
Well, let the trials continue. That's it's going to be a long ride, really, because again, even after some of these courts make their judgment, depending on where it goes for Mr. Emefiele, he's still probably going to appeal this judgment. So it probably will be on this case till the end of this administration, or even far more than the end of this administration, because the cases keep coming. So some of the cases are in some other court. stage. That's one thing you need to know. Take note of. So I don't know. I don't know whether to say we wish him well or to say, well, he has all the monies in the world really to defend himself. You can see the team of lawyers, very solid thing. So we're just hoping that the prosecution would also be able to make a very solid case against Mr. Emefiele. Because look, it's not about the sensationalism that comes from it, or all of the media trials and all of the reports you are getting. The court of law is blind to public opinion, really, when it comes to cases like this. You who are ladies must prove. And you must be able to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that indeed he has abused his office and has stolen most of his monies we are alleging that he stole. You understand what I'm saying? So we wait to see, really, how it all ends for Mr. Emefiele. It's probably too early to make too many comments on some of these things, but it's just unfortunate that a man that was so lucky, very, very lucky to have been the longest serving CBN governor, is alleged to have done all of these things, that will keep getting the positive getting about some of the atrocities he committed while in office. It's what it is, really.
Right.
Wait to see how it ends.
Indeed. Page 14 of the Punch has the full story. This is still trends in the papers on mainland 98.3 FM. We're looking at the Punch newspaper. We're still live on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can join our live stream at mainland 98.3 FM. The handle again at mainland 98.3 FM. So join the live stream and you can actually start to drop your submission, since today is Open Mic Thursday. So you can speak on any story that you like, and as we go through the papers, you can actually drop your submissions in real time. It's back to the papers now. The Punch tells us again that, speaking of financial misappropriation, court orders for forfeiture of 228 million naira linked to ex-Abia governor Orji. Now, the Federal High Court in Abuja has issued an order for the interim freezing and forfeiture of over 228.4 million naira linked to a former governor of Abia State, Theodore Orji. Justice Emeka Enrique made the interim forfeiture order on Wednesday following an ex parte application to that effect by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The EFCC, through its counsel, Fadila Yusuf, who appeared before the judge, said the forfeiture was vital to his investigation into money laundering allegations against the former governor, and the judge, after granting the forfeiture order, instructed the EFCC to publish the order in the newspaper to notify interested parties. Now, Orji, a former two-term governor of Abia State and served as a senator representing Abia Central Senatorial District before retiring from active politics, and according to the EFCC, the funds were found in possession of FD Nigeria Limited and are suspected to be proceeds of unlawful activities. Forward, we have yet another governor's in the eye of the EFCC, being investigated by the EFCC for financial misappropriation and also abuse of office, so to speak. They have investigated some organizations, and they believe that these organizations are linked to the former governor, which caused them to approach the court and ask that these properties be forfeited, that there be some sort of forfeiture order to allow them to proceed with their investigation. Is it a little, how do I say this now, should we applaud the EFCC for the audacity with which they have continued to go after former governors to ask them questions about some of the monies and how they spent them whilst they were in office? Or this is what their job should be and we should not exactly put fanfare behind it?
Well, it's their job. But again, if they do their job well, we should celebrate them and encourage them. I like the idea of this interim forfeiture. We've discussed it, especially with the Emefiele case too, and the judgment, the final forfeiture judgment on the Abuja property, if you remember.
Yes.
So what you get, and exactly with what the EFCC is doing, is that look, while they are prosecuting these cases and investigating these guys, what they do in the first instance is to try and see whether they can get some properties. A lot of these money that are stolen are put into real estate by proxies, by friends and cronies and business associates of these guys.
Fuad, I'm sorry.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm sorry if you let me put this into proper perspective. It's a sewage company, FD Nigeria Limited. So a sewage waste disposal company. So the EFCC is claiming that they used it to launder money from the state. Yes.
You see, so again, it's still real estate. Although real estate has business now. See, so whether it's a company, whether it's property, an estate, I think recently there was this also a forfeiture that happened to some properties linked to a Mayfield, some warehouses along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. So what the EFCC does is that, look, while the case is ongoing, let's first get the court to give an order of interim forfeiture. Now, the order of interim forfeiture means that, look, let somebody come out to claim the property. Come and say, no, this property is not a proceed, it's not from the proceeds of stolen monies and all of that. And so after some time, the court again will rule for a final forfeiture if nobody comes out really to clear themselves, out of the allegations and all of that. So I like the idea. The former governor of Abia State was still innocent until proven guilty. But, yesterday I was having a conversation with Madam Gloria Young, who is from that state, and Abia State. And he said that, look, she has traveled home this Christmas season, and for the first time, they are now seeing some form of real governance in that state. If there's one state in the southeast state that has been badly run from 1999 till date, this dispensation, this era, political era, it has to be Abia State in the southeast. From the era of Ejus Okalu down to Theodore Oji, then Nepazu, the last one, it's been back to back of misgovernance in that state. And from the reports we are getting and from even people who live in that particular state, a state with a lot of potential actually, a lot of potentials in terms of commerce, that the southeast is known for. But she told that, I'm talking about her testifying to the fact that, look, the new governor, maybe because there's no godfather anywhere, there's no, I'm talking of Governor Alex Oti, that, look, yes, there seems to be some level of good governance now going on in that state. Projects are coming up, roads are being seized, and she thinks that, look, this may just be one government that will be able to at least put some smiles on the faces of the people when it comes to governance. So it's just what it is, really. What some of these governors are being alleged to have done, the resources of their state.
Page 7 has the full story, and now we're moving on to other reports on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. We have Ganduje tackles Obi as APC spokesman received 200 death threats. Still on the matter between Felix Morka and also Mr. Peter Obi, we have the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, on Wednesday, threw his weight behind the embattled National Publicity Secretary as misleading, an act he said incited his online supporters to troll Morka. So Felix Morka was on a television interview again yesterday, the same platform where he made the initial statements that is now being alleged as
a different platform. I think was on that.
He back there because since that was the platform where it all started, he was given another opportunity to come on there, and I did see that interview, and he tried to put context to it. He said he was simply answering a question, and that statement does not in any way translate to a threat to Mr. Explicit graphic messages explaining how these individuals intend to cause him and his family harm, all of which he would submit to security agencies moving forward. Now, the national chairman is also saying that, well, Peter Obi is in a way responsible for this because his allegation of a threat to life is misleading, and that is why his supporters are now trolling Felix Morka for that particular statement. Fouad.
Well, Sage, when we say and when we tell our politicians to behave themselves, when we tell them to be a bit more responsible with their utterances, you can see now. Because again, how did this all start? Peter Obi had issued a New Year message, basically doing his job as a political opposition leader, advising the president, of course, calling out the government, speaking to some of the issues he considers germane to nation building. And we've reviewed all the things he said, only for a publicity secretary of the ruling party to go on TV. And we played the soundbites severally yesterday, so that we are not accused of quoting him out of context. Yeah. And luckily he spoke in English, not in Mandarin or one foreign language, or Hebrew. He spoke in English. And what he said, his tantamount can be simply interpreted as a threat. Threat to life, maybe not, but it's a form of threat. What kind of threat it is another thing entirely. But please, for you to have gone ahead to say that, look, he's crossed the red line, and whatever he gets now, he must be ready to take. That's a threat. and now he's now getting the counter threat. And the mob on social media, you understand? Because again, see, if you say people are like that on social media, one will expect that you don't do what they do. You set the standard with your own utterances and behavior. Or you did the same thing you've been accusing people of doing, now you are getting me back, and look at the katakata we have now. So it's just to appeal to our politicians. They cannot, because of their own selfish interest or greed, set this country on fire. It's not going to happen, really. And so we just want to beg them, whether from the opposition or the ruling party, can we be more responsible with our utterances, focus on issues? We cannot banter. It's just normal in the political space. It's so interesting. Say, look, I was telling you, say, that look, I grew up with my grandfather who gave me the opportunity, even though I didn't live in that era. But in our discussions, he would always recall the beautiful banter between Chief Obafemi, for example, and the latest Elatintola. The way they would play on words, the way they would talk about history, the rich Yoruba that they would always come up with at the campaign grounds, the proverbs. Look, say it, you probably need to go and also listen, for example, to the late MK Abiola when he talks. Every word comes with a proverb. Every word comes with a word of wisdom. When he's addressing issues, I'm talking for parties or talking for their principles. There's really nothing about wisdom to pick from them. You understand what I'm telling you? Go listen to it. There's a word of wisdom to back it up, and we enjoy it. So let's just beg our politicians, please, to behave themselves and be more responsible. Adults, actually.
Bad news here, Fuad. Tension rises as gunmen kill 18 in Imo community. We've been seeing reports like this one, needless killings, especially in the southeastern part of the country. It was a few weeks ago, it was conversations around Edo State and the anomaly and the very wrong thing that happened in Edo State. People allegedly being shot at work, and it was a terrible thing. And now we have Imo State, 18 people being killed in Imo State. We have the Imo State Police Command has expressed its determination to unravel the circumstances surrounding the killing of no fewer than 18 persons in coordinated attacks by gunmen in several communities in the Osu local government area. Punch Metro gathered on Wednesday that the killing occurred in Umukabia, Eziawa, in Hinasa, Umuhu, Amaoku, and Amebe, all communities within the Osu local government area on Sunday. And the former chairman of the Nigerian Human Rights Commission, Professor Chidi Odinkalu, who hails from Osu, has drawn attention to the incident via his X handle. And the police are actually aware of the killings, and they're already investigating to find out whatever is responsible for this needless killing. Fuad, do you want to comment on this?
It's so sad. Very, very sad. See, still on the discussion I was having with Madam Gloria Young yesterday, because again, she's just come from the Southeast. I was really trying to probe into her to give me her experience. She said she had traveled by road, so it was going to be nice really to get her experience on the road, the situation in the Southeast, and all of that. And what she told me was that, look, Abia, the Southeast, it was not as much, really. And that, look, on Monday, for example, in Abia, people were still moving around doing their own thing. So the problem of IPOB or known gunmen, the insecurity in the Southeast, wasn't that a big deal, really. It was not that problematic. But what she told me was that, look, Imo State, almost every 100 meters, sometimes you just slipping into the car that, look, you can't even run 40 kilometers. You can't run 40 kilometers per hour on any of the roads around Imo because of the number of security checks. So I don't know how, despite all of those, security presence in Imo State, for example, we are still having a repeat of this thing. But she said to me that, look, it was really, really exhausting, really, because of the number of times probably have to come down from the car for checks, or probably have to stop, and then they take their time to do their job, to check everything. They are not really so cautious to look at whether you are wasting time or not. So there's something wrong with Imo State. But yes, there's a problem in the Southeast generally. But for Imo State, there's something about that state that needs more scrutiny. There are people who tell you it's politics. They say they don't like the governor, and the governor was imposed on them. There are several states that the people will tell you that this is not the man we really wanted. But it's our government, what can we do? But we've not seen this needless, senseless killings in those states. Oh, because I'm trying to say that I don't think that can be the full reason why we have this level of insecurity in Imo State. Oh, that because the governor is not really popular choice of the people. I'm saying, and then you begin to kill yourself because you don't like a governor. Okay, when the day will now come when you are able to choose the governor you want? Look at Abia State, for example. Against all expectations, the Labour Party was able to take the state. So just imagine that, so there's really something wrong about Imo State. But I also think that, look, there has to be something more holistic about insecurity in the Southeast. If it's about the Nnamdi Kanu conversation, I think it's time for the government to also look at that. I've suggested that there should be a political solution to the Southeast problem. And this is Nnamdi Kanu case. And I also think that, there's a lot that we still need to talk about really when it comes to the Southeast. That for people who will say that the people coming are not from the state, they're just deceiving themselves. The reality is that, look, the people of the South, because look, if you talk to people who really want to tell you the truth, they tell you that, look, these guys are not aliens, they're not from outside. These are guys who are deliberately causing this trouble to make a statement. The statement they are making, I don't know. But something has to happen to bring peace back again to the Southeast.
The incident is actually explained, all the gory details, and I don't want to put us through that, but it's actually it's a sad thing. If you read the report, you see the explicit details of this senseless murders, and you would grip your shirt by the collar. It's very, very sad. But this particular story is on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Other headlines here: EFCC detains 10 officers for stealing cash, gold exhibit. Again, the EFCC, we should applaud them. They've been doing a very good job, and there's been there's usually a lot of reservations, right, about the EFCC investigating itself, because many times when we see that report, we're saying, well, they're not going to be very honest. But the EFCC, even erring officers, are being publicized, and they're being
prosecuted.
Well, they're currently being detained. Obviously, investigation would have to happen.
We like to see prosecutions too. So the outcoming is thorough.
Right. Well, that story is on page 12 and page 7. Backbiters behind my kangaroo impeachment. Makinde ex deputy says that. Okay. And that's really everything that we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Let's move now to the Guardian newspaper. It's quite a lot that we need to talk about on the front page of the Guardian, but let's start with this one being the top story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. The headline: Anxiety as execution of federal government's free cesarean session initiative stalls. The writer to that story: data of potential beneficiaries, facilities still stalling rollout. Initiative to cost federal government between 200,000 and 300,000 per delivery. Pregnant women, care workers unaware of modalities. NMA, NARD, Lord Initiative urge inclusion of private medical facilities. Now, delay in the awareness campaign and rollout of the federal government's free cesarean session initiative have further raised doubts about the laudable initiative. The program, aimed at reducing the high maternity mortality in the country, was disclosed in November last year, but is yet to come upstream about 3 months later. While practitioners are optimistic about its impact in the delivery wards and indigent homes, pregnant women in need of it are set to go the way of the government 40,000 naira per bag of rice. Now, the Guardian learned that the initiative tags supporting financial access to comprehensive emergency obstetric and neonatal care in the incubation stage, though hobbled by the search for accurate data on the beneficiaries and designated facilities, coupled with its budget. It's just a lot of words here, but basically the summary of all of this is that the federal government had in November last year put out an initiative process, but the Guardian rather is telling us that 3 months after, there's been nothing. There's no awareness program. Even the doctors and the midwives and all of them that are supposed to be on top of this are oblivious to the modalities of the program, and in fact some women prefer the initiative of the 40,000 naira bag of rice to the cesarean session that they're offering to them to minimize maternal and neonatal deaths. Ford.
Again, this is just 3 months. We've had several initiatives of the government.
Yeah.
More than 6 months down the line that has not happened, right?
Yes. So
this should not come as a surprise. It's probably too early to even begin to get worried. I think by now we should be used to all manner of initiatives that have just ended up as mere words, mere promise. You understand? And that's why the report is also telling us about the 40,000 naira bag of rice. Yeah. Don't know. I think say but one. So,
Why did I buy
and
one
you didn't tell me where you bought your own.
I did not buy any rice, so please. I don't buy any rice.
I don't know if anybody bought it at 40,000 naira, but you know it was an initiative too. It was announced, it made the headline, got people excited. I don't know if anybody bought it at that price anywhere.
I know. When they are sharing
So,
designer bag, they should let me know.
so again, I don't know how this initiative came about and how the initiators of this particular idea, I thought they were going to be able to implement it. Because again, free cesarean session for all Nigerians, how? In all government hospitals alone, or is it going to be for select?
No, it's government hospitals.
Now that has to go through CS, we have to give it free. That was the idea.
Yes.
And you think it's possible in Nigeria?
It might be. They are budgeting at least 200 to 300,000.
To
No.
any mother and child hospital or any, or what's it called?
No.
Antenatal session to see the number of women in Lagos State. Oh, okay. I just been told that in Lagos it's already been done. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. CS is free in Lagos government hospital. Okay, that's what I've been told now. We'll have to recheck that, but someone is telling me just now that it's already been done in Lagos, and that's beautiful. That's commendable from the Lagos State government. You know, it's our state, so we always set the pace.
Right. Well,
Good things.
this is a federal government initiative.
That's what Lagos State.
Come on. Come on. Well, I mean, Lagos State
this can be free because the value is about 300,000 now.
Yes, 300,000.
And that's even in a public hospital.
Yes.
In a private hospital, probably going to be more. So I think the government, because I actually know what it means. Really,
Oh, Fuad,
so.
the reporter actually saying this, that Lagos has started as far back as February of 2024.
Oh, fantastic! That's cheerful. That's wonderful. I hope people will not be running from other states to Lagos.
And that's what the federal government is doing, is
And they should do their own now. You see the problem.
Fuad,
It's a good one if it can be implemented, really, to help our women.
let's have a conversation.
Because you know the report has told us now, the data is showing that when it comes to maternal mortality, Nigeria is the second highest figure in the world.
Yes.
So this can help to reduce that and take us away from that terrible list.
Very, very terrible. It's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper, and let's hope that they're able to actually see this through. It's been 3 months. 3 months is a long time to actually implement something. But
so for women who don't know if it's all these, I don't want to call their name, or they go to religious houses. It's not a religious matter.
it's on page 6
Give that somewhere in wrong corner. Go to the hospital. There is free.
of the Guardian newspaper. Fuad. Let's have a conversation about our budget. I'm going to lump two stories together. They're different but very related, and I would actually start with the review of the 2024 budget. The Guardian tells us that the National Assembly condemns poor 2024 budget execution and demand urgent reform. The rider, they want legislative reform to cap recurrent spending. Now, the National Assembly has issued a stern warning regarding the poor implementation of the 2024 capital budget, calling for the immediate release of funds to drive economic growth and deliver essential infrastructure projects. Now, at the joint session involving the Senate and the House Appropriation Committee, lawmakers described the loop-sided allocation favoring recurrent expenditure, which has achieved 100% performance. Capital projects lag at mere 25%. Senator Solomon Adiola and Abubakar Bichi, chairman of the Senate and House Committee on Appropriation, respectively, expressed frustration over the imbalance, insisting that the 2025 budget must be the reverse of the trend to meet the aspirations of Nigerians. So I believe that they pegged total budget performance at around 45%. But then, of all of that, recurrent expenditure, 100% fully captured. But for capital projects, 25%. In fact, funds were not even released for some projects according to this report, and so they are condemning the entire operation of the 2024 budget.
So how did you even arrive at 45% budget performance if your recurrent did 100% and your capital struggled with 20%? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and if you are going to, if a budget will be impactful really on development and what have you, more has to come from the capital expenditure part of it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's where you see roads, you see things that are sustainable, you see things that can, bring real development to the people. So, and whether you like it or not, this 2025 budget is going to be in that same pattern. Forget all these it should not happen, it should not happen. Sage, the National Assembly that is questioning the budget performance, when are they going to show us the breakdown of their own budget? Sage, in 2024, as it's a pattern, every year in, year out, you only see the figure. The breakdown is not made available. In this 2025 budget, they have about 344 point something billion naira as the National Assembly budget. Go and see the document. Recurrent expenses begin to question budget performance. You don't understand what I'm saying? Is it not an aberration? Is it not strange that you have a document called the National Budget which gives money to for their own, there's no breakdown. How they spend the money, we don't know. And then there are the people questioning the budget performance and saying, no, it should not happen again. Well,
well, speaking
when we are a budget that we're giving 8 billion naira for to sensitize people on vandalism, that budget is the one you are taking serious.
Fᴏᴜ, since you have raised the 2025 budget, I'll help you to raise it more. Because the Bauchi government...
You want my BP to go up again?
Yes, I'll help you raise it more. The Bauchi government budget 400 million naira to procure 6 computers for the SGG's office. Bauchi State government has proposed 400 million naira in its 2025 budget to purchase 6 computers for the office of naira to procure computers for the office of the SSG, and also land and also a generating set to help with the activities of the SSGs in Bauchi State. But we have public affairs analysts and financial experts who are saying that it's an absolute waste of money. You could use that resource to do something that would be beneficial to the public. Fᴏᴜ, I thought you ran away. You had 400 million for computer. You not ran away. You bring it back. Well, it's technological improvements in the state. Yes, now it starts from somewhere.
The secretary to the state government.
Yeah.
To buy 6 computers at over 400 million.
I tend to be computer literate.
I just say politicians. Because that's Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi, he won't say PDP man. And so when people come and say APC, he's the same of the same across board. And you know, when we have been busy probing the national budget, the budget of the federal government, I have always told you that it is the same thing at the state level, across board. And it is sad, Sage. It is sad, and the reason why it is sad is that we are in an era where Nigerians are being told there's no money, tighten your belt, this is the time to manage. But look at what is happening. This is a period where it's almost looking at Nigerians are suffering in vain. Because these guys are still doing the same old thing. Misappropriations, reckless appropriations, embezzlement of funds, corruption is still widespread. How can you put 400 million in the budget to buy 6 computers for the office of the SSG? And I'm saying that it's not even a Bauchi matter. It's a Nigerian problem. If we be talking about that on the federal government, and you've been seeing some of things have been picking out. So, okay, where do we go from here? How do we make any meaningful progress? If this is the mindset and what our politicians are doing. And you know that this report just only picked a few things.
Yeah.
This is not a complete review of the Bauchi budget. It's just 1 or 2 things that have been picked out. So it's just unfortunate, and it's not a Bauchi matter. It's everywhere. If we start the analysis now of the different things and what they put in their budget, you shake your head. Look at River State, for example. That one presented budget now to 3 people. Papa, they don't pass or they don't find out.
They are fighting lower. People consider that they are fighting lower, please. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, that's on page 30 if you'd like to see the full report. I'll just read the rest of the headlines here. Federal government criticized over jumbo perks for military, politicians, others. I think we, a few days ago, also spoke about, the $20,000 medical aid.
Look, at this time too, the optics, the perception is bad. We are not saying that, look, our military, again, people will tell you what it takes to rise to the rank of a general. Of course we know that, look, yes, at that level, they should be well taken care of. Their retirement should be assured. But, we're looking at the timing, the optics, the message it is sending. And should it just be the military alone? Or should it be also the hierarchy, the highest hierarchy of the military? What about the junior officers? Say, what about doctors? What about lawyers? What about teachers? Shouldn't we have a situation where we can have a better welfare, better passage for every Nigerian?
How far do we actually?
Not just our general. But it is what it is.
For resources by the parents to actually send their children back to school, and some who has traveled
Is it public school?
do not have
Is it
transport.
public school?
Yes, well, it wasn't
Okay,
highlighted
okay.
there, but from the report is indicating public school. But,
But I discovered that in Lagos too, the roads are a bit empty. Most schools have still not resumed, and a few situations where parents
actually,
have still kept their children at home. Yeah.
To enroll their children in school. That's what this particular report is about. And we have no plan to revive Nigeria Air deal with Ethiopian airline. Federal
that's a failed
government
deal. That must not even
clarify, so they're not doing it anymore. And telcos get tariff hike as federal government retains sustainability report from KPMG. So what they're trying to do is ensure that the business increase, so at least Nigerians can get commensurate.
I don't dislike to state. I don't dislike.
That's all we have for
you.
you.
It's not going to be 100%.
Let's take this correct.
Chai, my head oh. Oga landlord, why you dey shake like ceiling fan?